What is up, geeks? Hey, let me tell you, we are about to do a crazy unboxing. Some really cool stuff. And this is, I know it's one of your favorites, you guys that watch a lot. What did I actually spend my money on down at the Knoxville Expo? And we really found some hidden gems. We always seem to find some hidden gems, and I always say it's one of the biggest reasons why you need to go out and go to these expos, because you are going to find some baits if you really look in unexpected places. It may be the shabbiest booth in the whole place, but they're going to have something that nobody else does, that nobody else is doing, that nobody else has thought of. Because a lot of times they're like me, and they fish unusual places, unusual ways, and they have to come up with their own style or hack to a specific bait to catch more fish. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Now, some of the stuff, it's going to be, just kind of your standard run-of-the-mill stuff. But we got some really cool stuff in here that we're going to talk about. All right, so let's start. Everybody's seen my buddy Dominator. Man, he hooked us up with some of the Hillbilly Dock props. Now, if you guys haven't seen these before, they are great to keep your boat from beating and banging into the docks. So you can wrap them around. You just pull this out, wrap it around the cleat on the dock, hook this up to your boat, and bam, it keeps you from beating the paint off the side of the boat. Again, I appreciate Dominator hooking us up with some of these. We're going to throw these in the Green Goblin. They match too. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. And if you guys have it, man, he does real repair, real tuning, real cleaning. He's got some incredible bearing sets for reels. Pretty much any reel that you can think of, you need to go check him out, man. He does a great job. We've had him on the show and let him show you how to install some of his bearings during the live stream a couple times. So, all right. Got some of those. Got to protect the old Green Goblin. So, the first thing I'm going to talk about is some interesting hard baits. Now, normally I go down there. You get down there on a Friday, best time to get there. And there is an incredible bunch of artists down there who paints baits. Some of them actually have balsa baits, which is a huge deal in Northeast Tennessee. It's a big deal for us, and we throw them all the time, especially coming up here in March. So I didn't pick up any of the balsas. I've got a bunch of balsa baits that I'm pretty happy with right now, kind of loaded up. But I did pick up a few from a couple of different companies. This one is a repaint, so it's actually a paint job that Spro used to make, and they don't anymore. We picked this up from Van Huss Custom Lures. So again, we'll try and link everything at the bottom. Some of these people don't have websites or Facebook, so we'll do our best to get it there. But you can see that. I'm trying to make sure that it's showing up nice. But this is again called Dragon's Breath. Good looking red to silver to kind of silver black back. I think that'll be a very interesting color as we go on. Now, next up, I like to get a couple of these deep divers. And I get these off my buddy Razor. And this is actually a color that he come up with a while back. And it is, I mean, no matter where you go, this color gets destroyed. So I wanted a little deeper versions of it. So I picked up a 6XD and a 10XD. And I don't know how well this color is going to show. Not too bad. But that is just such a great little color. That yellow is actually, or chartreuse there is actually showing up way better then you'll actually see it on the bait. It's very, very subtle. And it's like a kind of a baby blue, sky blue back. It's not quite showing up as well. Maybe on the smaller one it will. Yeah, it's a little bit better. So, but a great color right there into that white back. So, you know, pretty subtle color, but something that's going to show up real well in the depths too. And there's your 6 and 10 XD. As always, you guys have heard me talk about the Nasty series of baits the past 2 or 3 years, and they have really expanded their line. This year, they've came out with a little bit different size of a jerkbait. It's a little bit bigger, a little bit girthier style bait. This is the Nasty 360 FFS. So this is the bigger kind of jerkbait style. And if you guys want to find them, I'll give you this code right here. And you can see the website there. So these do stand on bottom. You can see how the bill squares off. They do sink. Now these got a little slower sink rate, so I picked up a couple different colors here. And we're gonna give them a try, especially as the water temps begin to warm up. Really great baits if you're out in open water and you're fishing for those suspenders out there like jerkbaits. I've got some small ones that I picked up from him last year. They are deadly during the spring. Last but not least, there were a ton of hard swim bait guys down there. One of the baits that I've liked for a long time, and I've got a couple from Clutch already. I've got a couple of bosses, so I picked up another. I just like this color. This is kind of one of my go-to colors in a lot of different baits that I use. And this is just called Matte Shad, I believe. I like that little less gloss from these baits. So this is the boss. I believe this is the boss. This is a 9. I don't think this is quite the 9. I think this may be closer to like a 7-inch version. Maybe I'm wrong counting the tail completely. It may be the boss, but I know I've got a bone colored boss that seems like it's a little bit bigger than this. So I can't remember, but incredible bait. They got a weight chamber. I don't know if you can see that in there. So you can put a little weight inside there and adjust the rate of fall on it. Got the pin exposed. You can pull this out, and so you can screw these in or out and get the exact right glide if you want to glide. These are more of what I would consider a chop. So you can screw them in and the tail will have a little less turn and get a little more of a true wide glide out of it. Just a lot of different things you can do and tune with this. It has the spinner, so it's harder for bass to throw these baits, but great little baits. These guys do an incredible job. Like the thin, a little more erratic. I just noticed this on their website. It's got a cupped chin on it too, so it gives it a little more of a erratic action. One of the other things though, I picked up one of their baby bosses, and now this has the same sort of setup. It's just a smaller version. I think this is a 7.5 inch is where it's at. So all the same details. Love that paint job. As soon as I seen it, I knew I was picking this one up. This is going to be something that I'm absolutely going to throw for some of those big smallmouth this year as we get out there. I think this is going to be a deadly bait for those bigger smallmouth. Like I said, look at the details on that paint job. Just an incredible little bait. There we go. If we can get it into focus for you. But got the lifelike tail, man. Just some great baits from Clutch. you know, like I said, I already own a couple from them that we've been throwing. And this right here, I just think is going to be a deadly little bait for those smallmouth this spring. Now, this is a perfect example of a company that if you're just browsing, if you're just walking around, you might have missed at the show. And they had what I would consider one of the most innovative baits at the show, in my opinion. That's, and more than one, to be honest with you. Who am I talking about? I'm talking about Bulldog Bait Company. Let me tell you, right there's the website if you want to go. You know, we would appreciate you clicking the links in the description. There will be links in the description to everything in this video. We can kind of track that. It just helps us, you know, when we talk to prospective sponsors. So clicking the link does help. Even if it's not, we don't get paid from any of these companies. But it does help us out number-wise. Helps us track our numbers. Now, I'm going to show you a few things, and this is one bait that I'd actually been hearing a lot about. And a couple of my buddies from South Carolina had been telling me about this little bait right here. So this is something that I've been dying to do a video on and pick up. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, these aren't cheap, but it is a hard bait, and it's a handcrafted hard bait, but it's a handcrafted hard fluke style bait. This thing is incredible. It's incredibly durable. You can buy the tails. They just screw up on there, and it acts just like a soft jerk bait. But you can get it down a little bit deeper, and like I said, the key is the durability. You're going to be able to put this in to some places and catch a lot more fish on this particular bait than you are anywhere else. Now, this is the junior version. They make one in a full size, so think about this kind of, come on, get in focus for me. Come on, there, well, we go. Let's back up just a little bit. I don't know. There we go. Anyway, I'm trying to get you to get a good look at this bait. But the thing of it is, this is kind of like a soft jerk bait, but in a hard jerk bait body. It's called, I think, the Finkel Junior, the Fickle Junior. Yes, you know, I'm a hillbilly sometimes. My reading ain't really that good, boys, you know what I'm saying? But this little bait has been one that I've been hearing they have been killing on down in South Carolina, and I'm sure there's a whole bunch of them telling me to shut the you-know-what up right now, talking about this bait. And hopefully we're going to talk about it a little bit more in the spring and a little bit more into early summer. But again, this is the junior version. They've got a full size, which is big, just like your super fluke version. The Fickle is what it's called. And like I said, I've been hearing a lot of tournaments, a lot of check cashing going on down in South Carolina, down there. Now, another little bait, and this is kind of the junior version of this bait also. This is called a swimmer. And of course, these guys are down around a lot of herring lakes, all those spotted bass lakes. So it's got a soft tail on it again. But this is something that you're going to be able to swim in the water really quickly. I'm telling you, I'm pretty jacked up about this bait because I'm really going to swim it very quickly when that topwater bite comes on, about in August, July and August this year on the lakes I'm on, because those bass are getting so keyed in on being able to tail a walking bait or a popper or something on top. Sometimes, like we showed last year, something like this, like a riser, but this with the action on it and the size on it, man, it is going to get destroyed. But it's basically a multi-joint swim bait, and it's just something that, to me, you can burn really quickly. And I think it's going to match the hatch where I'm at, those little thread fins. Again, trying to get the camera to focus. There it goes for just a second. But Doing my best, guys. I ain't got my camera guy in here with me. I couldn't stick him behind the desk over there. So, good looking bait. Multi-joint. Love the action of that tail. I think that's what's going to get it killed. Now, they do make some tungsten heads. So I picked up a couple of them. Bigger heads, like the screw locks in that. As always, good looking color right there. Good looking color. Nice and natural for my clear bodies of water. That's their swim bait head. And I also picked up a couple of their underspin heads. You can see, I believe these are tungsten. I might be lying to you. They might be lead, but I'm trying to get, there we go. Trying to get a clear shot of it here. I think the glare on the packet, but good looking baits, good looking underspins right there. Love those. Now this is where, and I'm gonna kick myself because I just noticed something, and I'm so irritated at myself because I didn't realize that they had so many different options of these. So I'm gonna show you the kind that you kind of swim first, and these are made from tungsten resin. So they are tungsten. These are the bait fry blade. One is in natural, one is in blueback. And so what I love about these is that you've got a blade on the back. I'm going to take one of them out here and show you. And they're sort of like a tail spinner, I guess you could say. But what they told me is that the best way to fish this version is just like you'd fish a spy bait, which I'm a huge fan of, you know this. So it's got a blade on the back. Like I said, the entire body is made of tungsten. So it's tungsten resin. So I think it's like 97% tungsten. This is a 3/8 ounce. Now, what I'm really interested in, because it's, you know, it's a very thin body, I'm really wondering how deep you can get this and how deep you can keep this, because I'm going to bet this thing is going to fall like a rocket because of the shape of it. Now, like I said, I did pick up 2 of these. This is the blueback. And again, I'm trying my best to get this in focus, and this camera is just not doing us any favors whatsoever. But you can see that sort of grayish. I believe that's the blueback. Let's see. Yeah, that is the blueback here. Alright, so here is, again, one of the things I'm really, truly excited about. Now, this is for the FFS minnow twitch in blueback, and you'll notice that it is tied on at the nose right there. Got the little tail on there, replacement. Again, a great little bait, again made of that tungsten resin. So nice thin little bait, almost reminds you of a blade bait. But this is in that, if you guys haven't seen the video, I'm going to leave you a link at the end of this video. It will be the twitch bait video, and that's kind of what this is. And this is going to get some really erratic action as it comes through the water. The line ties on the front, and so you just twitch it kind of like you do, let's say, one of the finishers. Let's see. Anyway, you'll just have to look through the video. I'm just brain dead today, but that's kind of what this one does. So really cool looking little bait right there. Cannot wait to get out and put that to use. Now here's the one, and this is, again, this is called the twitch bait version. Again, links will be in the description. Now here's the one that I am crazily excited about. And I'm really ticked off at myself too. I'm going to have to call them up or jump on their website and order a couple more of these. And that is this version. This is just the Scope Fry 90. So it's got the 90-degree tie. It's basically a minnow, but it's a hard minnow. So again, you've got the tail on there that is replaceable, and literally you can buy the tails from them, or you can cut off any minnow if you got an older minnow, you know, that's beat up, save them, and you can use them to slide up there on the tail, probably with a little touch of glue. But this is basically a minnow. Now what I like about it, again, both of these are 3/8, so I'm really interested because how thin they are, how deep they're going to get down, even at a 3/8. Because, you know, I fish some pretty deep waters when it comes to where I'm at. So I would like to see them maybe come out with at least a half. I think that'll be interesting. I think this one, this particular color is natural. So that is a natural shad there. But again, these are from Bulldog Bait Company. Make sure you go check them out. I cannot wait. This is going out on the water with me the next time I go. And it will be tied on. I cannot wait to try it. All right, let's talk a little terminal tackle. What did I pick up as far as terminal tackle goes? And I want to say right now, I've got one of these stealth lures. I don't know if you can't really see it back here, but it's hanging up right over here. And they came out and, you know, we stopped by, we talked to them, and he reached out and gave me another one of them. Said they've made some improvements to it, and we're going to definitely take this bad boy out and try it out. Now, you know, any of these are made from fluorocarbon. There's a lot of, you know, heavy, you know, saltwater style fluorocarbon. But any of these that you get, you know, what you want to remember, they're expensive because they are so durable. Like, you don't have to worry about the arms and stuff breaking off of these styles right here. And like I said, this is a stealth lure. It's got a few little things that are cool about it. Like in the head itself, you can actually add some scent, which I really, really like. Put a little bait fuel in there, and that really gives it a little extra added oomph. But again, good looking little A-rig right there. Now, we'll tell you, like it'll tell you the size of the heads that you need to use on it. You can't go too heavy on this because, again, it is like really heavy fluorocarbon is what these things are made out of, but they're pretty damn cool. So Cast and Queen Tackle had a booth together, and you guys know I've been a fan of the Queen Tackle rolling, strolling head for a very long time. Talk about it all the time. If I'm scoping, it is the go-to head for me to scope with. I mean, just hands down. Well, they've come out with something that's a little interesting. This is a line through nail weight. Now, there's a lot of different ways that you can rig it. You can see rigging it right here, you know, in some sort of minnow head, which I think is tremendous, and I cannot wait to try that. But something else that he was mentioning to me was actually rigging this in those dice baits, especially those dice baits that float a little bit, because a lot of guys are using them kind of the way that I first showed everybody, down on the bottom. But these are great scoping baits too. The dice baits are great scoping baits. And man, we've got a good one we're going to do a little video on coming up real soon. And the thing about them, the ones that will float, is that they are extremely durable, which means the body is so thick, it just, once you put them on a hook, they're not going to slide up and down, and if they do slide down, it's bad. So inserting this into them could be a huge game changer. Now, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, but you can see on some of those that there's little holes in them. So we're going to try some of those out. These are the 1/8 ounce, very small. You put a couple of them in, really, and get you up there to some pretty good sizes. But Queen's Tackle, man, always coming out with some really, really cool stuff. Now, something else, and you've heard me talk about this, you know, with the Omega hookup head. If you haven't checked that out, you really need to. Again, that's another great video that you should go watch. But underspins. This is something that I really like when they're in the balls of shad feeding. And so we picked up their 1/2 ounce. I don't know if they make them in the 3/4 ounce, but if they do, I'll be picking up some of those too. These are something that you can make some modifications to. I don't know how strong that wire is right there. But don't forget to shake an underspin like this. Put a minnow on it and shake it. People just don't do that. And you wouldn't believe how many more bites you're going to get sometimes by just putting an underspin on and shaking it. Like I said, check that out. I like the wire coming off of there because it keeps that willow leaf away from the body of the bait a lot too. Oh, look at that. I'm an idiot. I did get a 3/4 and a 1/2 ounce. Oh, hey, well, you know. Like I said, I'm brain dead today. My brain just ain't working. Now, next up, this is something I was really excited about. I got 2 3/4. Cannot wait to see how quickly these drop. They're small. They're the traditional style of jigging spoons, but they're tungsten. Check that out, man. Tungsten jigging spoons. So they're going to get down. They're smaller. They're going to get down quicker. And man, I guarantee you these are going to catch a ton of bass. I'm super, super excited to try these pups out. Next up, you guys see me stop by Blue Rock. I picked up one of those, and I really meant to come back by and pick up a couple more, but I did pick up one of those Finesse football heads that they had. This is a 1/2 ounce, my go-to size. But look how small this is. What an incredible little head. You know, flat on the bottom. Nice little light weed guard. Nice little light skirt. Like that blue in it. Those multiple greens and browns. A little hint of orange in there. So great looking little jig right there. Perfect for some of these smallmouth lakes that I fish. And you'll notice that it's wire tied skirt. So here, trying to get my big ugly mug out of the way so you can see that. So awesome little jig right there. Again, I wished I'd have picked up 2 or 3 more, and I kind of forgot to go back by there. You know, it'll be my luck. I'll have some right there perfect, ready to eat that jig, and I'll get it home. Now, speaking of my buddy Ryan at Cast, it is a great company. Queen's Tackle and them work together a whole lot. And here's a little bait that I didn't have any of. Got a bigger one. So this is the Echo. So this is the bigger Echo. This color right here is, I think, carbon, I believe is what it is. So I know you might not be able to see, but very translucent. Man, I think that's going to be a great. That, I'm really thinking about that. Not as much forward facing as I am as a bigger jerk bait because of its size. Comes with rattles in the bottom right there, which I really, really like. So we're going to try that out. Something a little bit bigger. Target some of those bigger bass with it. And like I said, the size of this one, I want to say this is like a 6-inch, 5.4 inch to be exact. It says right there. So, like I said, this is the carbon color. Now, here's some that we are going to do a little scoping with. And this color is blueback herring. And this is a 2.75, man. Look how good those things look. Such a good looking little bait. And again, I don't know if the smaller ones, yes, they all do have rattles. in the throat right there. That is flipping cool. Don't know if you guys can see that, if it's showing up or not, but either way, that is neat. So like the little blue backs, very clear on the bottom. Picked up, I believe, 2 of this color. This might be 2 different colors. Let's see, they're close. One is an Ozark and one is a carbon. So let's start with a carbon. Again, a good color. Got a little bit of dark, kind of grayish blue to the back. Maybe a little bit of touch of green there. Again, I know it's hard to get that in view. This camera's not the greatest on the autofocus, and I'm not the greatest at centering. This one is, I know this is going to be a go-to for me. So, Ryan, brother, you better be ready for me calling you up begging for a bunch of these in this clear water. This is Ozark, and it is, you know, let's see if I can pop this open just a little here to get you one out. Show you a little bit without messing everything up. That little color right there, I think is going to be deadly. I don't know, again, if you can see. I'm trying to hold it. There it is. You can see the rattles in there. So, a little extra sound. Good looking little bait, good looking little color. I think that's going to be deadly out there. And yes, you can guarantee I'm putting it on a rolling strolling head. All right, so we've got our last few plastics, and one of the things that I'm always looking for is a deal on some plastics that are hard to get or hard to find, versions of them that are hard to find. Maybe somebody else is making a version of that now that I like. You know, geeks, we're just always looking for that next minnow because they're always a player. So, a minnow that I've talked to you guys about, and I'm a huge fan of, is this one right here from J-Bros. And I have been out. This is, he calls it a Ned, and it is great on a Ned. But I took it out and started using it scoping, and it just slayed. He's come out with a couple of more clear watercolors for me. Now this is Silver Shad. This is one that I like a lot, a little more glitter in it. But you can use it with a bunch of different ways. I love the tail and how the tail is split so that it sets like a fish's tail, you know, when you have it on a jig head minnow. Again, we've got a video on this, and we'll probably talk about this coming up later. This is a little color that I just had to pick up because when the water dirties up just a little bit, those smallmouth get aggressive, and sometimes they like these brighter colors, and gotta get that right there, man. That is a good pink color, so he calls it Pink Monkey. These are 3-inch. Again, like them on a Ned, love them on as a jig head minnow out there scoping a little bit. And then finally, probably my favorite is this color right here. And this is the color he kind of made for me. This is the Ghost Shad color. And it's just, again, it's that very clear shad type color. You know, got a little bit of flake in it. But it's just very clear water. This thing just gets destroyed. So love that. Love J-Bros. You know, I always confess my love for Larry. If you haven't seen J-Bros TikTok channel, make sure you go check them out. Now, we stopped by. I've heard a lot about this company, the Burtech, and I know I'm killing their names. And they've got a couple of minnow baits, a little bit bigger minnow baits. I would classify these as soft plastics. Let's see if I can get into them without tearing them. Yes. And so this color is called Wagasaki. Be a great little color. It's very translucent, very good looking, solid minnow, a little bit bigger. I think this is a 4-inch. And that minnow's got, you know, you say it with me, guys, take a drink, take a drink. I ain't got the good stuff today, but it's got some girth to it. So again, from Bird Tech right here. Now, technique specific softness, premium plastic with unmatched action. Perfect blend with salt to maintain buoyancy. So a good looking color there. We picked up a couple of packs of these from them. I like that girthy bait. Here's the other color we picked up from them. So let me get it over here where you can see it. And this is Electric Dawn. So again, perfect color, you know, for me. It's got a little bit of that pink in there, a little bit of that blue. I know this stupid camera doesn't do it. Does not do it justice. But this is a very unique color that I cannot wait to get out there and throw. So, like I said, this camera just does not do it any sort of justice. But great looking color right there. So I like how they've got sort of like they've got holes on the top and they've got areas right here. And if you've got a straight or one of the owner style, which I'm not a huge fan of the owner, whatever it's called, rocking, rolling thing. Trust me, if you're gonna get a head that's gonna roll, it is the roller stroller from Queen's Tackle every day, period. And even when you're just reeling it, it has this sort of swimming action that comes to it. So this is very nice. I like the design. I like the pink in it. Good stuff, American made, boys and girls, which I'm a huge fan of. Small company. Make sure you go support them. Now, another company that I've heard a lot of good things about, this is Motion Fishing. Motion Fishing, I've heard a lot of good things about a lot of their products, and they've came out with their own winged version of a minnow bait, and I'm extremely excited. The wings on it are a little different than anything I've seen before. A little bit, maybe a little bit bigger, a little bit more pronounced. Like that. Love the little tail right there. Again, if we can get it in focus here. There we go. Sorry, I know it's bouncing around, but anyway, this is albino, so again, a color that I'm going to be very interested in. I think it works very well in the clear water. Got that sort of pearl essence gray blue back and that sort of milky shad belly on it. So, you know, love the keel on the back there. So it's going to be a very interesting. This is the 3 point. Or no, this is the 3. Oh, no, this is, open the middle one first like a big dummy. So this is the 4.25 inch right here. I'll show you the 3 inch next. 3 inch are super subtle, really good looking little baits right here. Very, very small little baits. Really like that. I'm sure as they get smaller, they're probably not going to have as much of a pronounced roll action to them. Again, rolling, strolling head. That's why I use them. But again, the 3 inch right there, an albino, good looking company. Right there, we picked up. So how sure these are going to catch them? I picked up 2 packs in that, 2 packs in the 4.25s, and then we went ahead and got one of the bigger ones in the 5 inch. Now, they make all kinds of different colors and all kinds of different baits. This is my first time, you know, trying them out. So I wanted to go ahead and just, you know, get something that I knew I was going to work with. And I can tell you right now, I love them. They're soft. They feel real good. You can tell, I mean, how soft that tail is. And, you know, it says even on the pack, you know, handcrafted by the angler for the angler. Hashtag catch mo fish, M-O. Again, made in the USA, right there. Nope, turn it the wrong way. But again, Motion Fishing, and you can see that bait right there. That's the 5 inch version. I guarantee that's going to catch some fish for us this year. So again, geeks, hey, make sure you support a lot of these companies. Almost every single one, I would say every single one of these companies are small businesses. So make sure you go support these small businesses. There's nothing better than these people out here innovating and creating. And let's keep that happening no matter what happens. Like I said, if you didn't see a lure net, which I know they're not a small business, but you know, the most copied bait in the world was the Big O, the original square bill, and that was made by a single guy, carving those and putting the lips in out of balsa. And you know, of course, they were bought out. You know, we've seen things like the chatterbait, that same thing happened there, and a lot of other baits happen that way. So support your small businesses, because the thing about small businesses is they're not afraid to take a chance on creating something new and unique to help us all catch more fish. Now, as always, and by the way, the video that I was telling you about where we talk about twitch baits, I'll leave a link right here at the end of that. But support these small businesses. Everything will be down in the description. We don't make a dime off of them. Use that description, though. Click those links, because it does help us as far as numbers-wise, okay? Otherwise, hype this video and go check that video out about those twitch baits right here. Questions, comments in the comment section below. Like it if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. Make sure you ring that bell. Be part of the 100% Watch Squad. 2026 is going to be your year. I'm going to need your help. I'll explain that when the time is right. But just understand, I will need every single one of your geek support. We love you geeks. You geeks rock.